Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. My name is Benjamin Abel and I'm going to be your host for today along with Jean-Paul. How are you, Jean-Paul?
I'm good, Ben. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, these are our 5 stories for today. Owner of dogs who killed 95-year-old was given clean bill by animal welfare. 2 cabinet members allegedly cooperating with foreign law enforcement agencies. State Advocate Victoria Buttigieg appointed as new Attorney General. Justice Minister found to have exchanged hundreds of messages with YORGEN FENECH. And last but not least, intruder caught on CCTV stealing barn owls from protected enclosure. Now, JP, do you want to start that off with the first story of today?
Absolutely. One of the most shocking stories to develop over the past week, the case of the 95-year-old woman who was mauled to death by 2 pit bulls. It now has been revealed that the dog owners were given a clean bill by animal welfare. In fact, which is in fact quite a shocking revelation. Shocking and maybe not so shocking, actually. A lot of people had been reporting the incident for about over a year now, with animal welfare visiting the site multiple times with police. And it seems that the dog owner, Andre Galia, managed to get his affairs in order just before police and animal welfare arrived, to the point that they had deemed that the dogs were in good condition and given a clean bill of health. But obviously revelations since then, and well-informed sources have told them the dogs were kept on a roof in awful conditions, and it's believed that they were bred for fighting, which seems to be the case, especially if you look at photos of the dogs. Yes, and their face seems to be scarred and mauled and stuff. But it's pretty crazy to think that that for all this time animal welfare had been inspecting the site and had deemed that the dogs were in good condition. But obviously there was a lot beneath the surface here, and to the point that it got so out of hand that 2 pit bulls escaped and went downstairs and mauled 95-year-old Ines Galia, actually a relative of the dog owners. The police are now treating this as an involuntary homicide, with the dog owner now on police bail. What do you make of this whole story, Ben? It's quite crazy.
It's quite crazy, and the more we find out about it, the crazier it gets, to be honest. Some reports are recently claiming that Andre Galia, the owner of the dogs and also the nephew of Ines Galia, the victim, allegedly left the apartment a few days prior to the incident after the house's electricity and water were cut off. So it's a very convoluted story. Of course, I'm sure that new updates are soon to be announced. Okay, on to our next story for today. 2 cabinet members allegedly cooperating with foreign law enforcement agencies. Quite big claims, to be honest. So basically a foreign financial blogger is claiming that 2 Maltese cabinet members are cooperating with foreign countries' law enforcement. Now the cases that they are cooperating for are as of yet unknown. The blogger Kenneth Ryok is also claiming that there are 8 Maltese individuals indicted in a US sealed case, and these 8 individuals aren't just any other normal average citizens. Rather, Ryok is claiming that they are current cabinet level officers of the Republic of Malta. So if these claims are real, this is quite a big and relevant case. Ryok went on to say, and I quote, "While we do not know the identities of these 2 individuals, there aren't a lot of choices if you are looking to figure out who it is." So only time can tell exactly what is going on.
Yeah, Ryok being obviously a very prominent and prolific financial crime blogger. He's also spoken about the Ali Sadir case in the Pilates Bank and whatnot, and the indictments of Maltese officials in that case. And he's been following it quite closely, and it's interesting to see him come out with some more information in regards to this. Obviously, we don't know whether this is all true or not, but it's believed that if they are cabinet members cooperating with foreign agencies, it's possibly maybe to seek immunity or to plead guilty for lesser charges. And I think the only way we will find out is if in this case the US does get their hands on these individuals, then we will to see exactly. But it's believed that they breached US federal law, and now the US is out after them. So again, just very convoluted and very strange, and an interesting development in this whole Pilates Bank. But again, we don't know if it's directly linked to that. But we'll have to just wait and see. Moving on to our third story of today, State Advocate Victoria Buttigieg has now been appointed as the new Attorney General. Victoria Buttigieg becomes the first female Attorney General, and she was chosen through an independent commission. She replaced Peter Gregg, who kind of built a reputation for himself for alleged inaction on these major corruption cases that have been unfolding over the past few years. So Peter Gregg has since stepped down this year, and Victoria Buttigieg has taken her place. But it seems that the apple hasn't fallen too far from the tree, because Buttigieg has been working in the office of Attorney General since 2007. So she's obviously got the experience in the Attorney General office, but it also seems to be quite close to Peter Gregg. She's also the first person or first Attorney General to occupy the role since the recent reforms, which will stipulate that she's responsible for primarily prosecution and criminal issues. So hopefully Buttigieg can do a much better job and a much a more efficient job, especially in light of all these major corruption cases. I'm sure she has a lot on her hands, and we'll see how she takes it forward.
Yeah, I mean, her appointment has been met with quite mixed reactions. I mean, many people, as you said, Jay, many people are praising the fact that she's Malta's first woman Attorney General. However, shortly after her appointment as Attorney General, Matthew Caruana Galizia, the son of slain journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, said that it was Buttigieg herself that approved the electoral clause, which ultimately allowed Conrad Mitzi's signature to bypass cabinet and parliament. So a lot of different claims to go through. I guess only time can tell whether she is actually doing a good job. Anyways, on to our next story. Quite a big story as well. Malta's Justice Minister found to have exchanged hundreds of messages with YORGEN FENECH. Okay, so Malta's Justice Minister, that is Edward Zamit Lewis, and YORGEN FENECH, that is the main suspect of the Daphne Caruana Galizia assassination case, have been found to have exchanged around 700 messages, Times of Malta have revealed. Now, the messages were allegedly shared between January and October 2019. Now, that means that the messages were shared after YORGEN FENECH was revealed to be the owner of 17 Black. Now, this has become public information after Europol lifted the contents of these messages off of YORGEN FENECH's phone back in October. Now, despite these facts, Edward Zamit Lewis, Malta's Justice Minister, has claimed that had claimed back in July that he had no relationship with YORGEN FENECH. Once again, a very interesting and weird development to the whole Daphne Caruana Galizia case. I guess, again, only time can tell.
It seems like everyone that says that they don't have relationships with YORGEN FENECH or haven't shared WhatsApp messages with YORGEN FENECH, in time turns out that they actually did. And 700 messages isn't a low number by any chance. That's some serious conversations going on there, some serious talking back and forth. So. Again, interesting development. And it
seems like YORGEN FENECH is intent on bringing down like everyone else with him. I mean, it seems to be working at this point.
Exactly. Moving on to our last story today, quite a sad story, in fact. Intruder was caught on CCTV stealing barn owls from a protected enclosure. Now, this protected enclosure forms part of a project to protect, to see the redevelopment of these barn owls. It's in Busquets, and it's being managed by the FENECH, one of Malta's biggest hunting lobbies. And yesterday they released some CCTV footage of an intruder breaking into the small enclosed cages and stealing 2 barn owls, which is a pretty sad sight to see. Pretty shocking footage that someone would go to the extent, and he goes to quite the extent to break in, jumping over the barrier. He seems to have some knowledge of the owls, of birds at least, in the way that he captures the birds, just raising his arm out and whatnot. And quite sadly, he steals 2, and so far has gotten away with it. Now, the FENECH has taken social media to express their disappointment and their shock in the event, and are asking people obviously to if they have any information to reach out to them, and obviously there's a police investigation currently going into this. The man, you know, at the time was seen wearing orange bandana and orange top, so you can't see his face clearly, but the video is quite clear, and hopefully there are clues to that will link this man to the incident, because it's absolutely shocking if someone would go to this extent to steal such precious and beautiful and native creatures to Malta, especially when it's, you know, the effort is going in to protect them and kind of keep the population alive. What do you think?
I mean, it's pretty sad, all the bird-related stories that have been coming up lately, and unfortunately most of them have been somewhat negative. I mean, only a few weeks ago, a flamingo was found shot dead in Malta, and a few weeks ago as well, a German NGO also uncovered a number of illegal trapping sites in Malta. I believe it's quite sad that Malta's efforts to rehabilitate certain species of birds are being undermined. I believe that brings us to the end of today's episode of Lovin Daily. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you have a day full of lovin'.